darkness, distress, need Jehovah's strength from. Alone in the pit where my sins dragged me down, I cried to the Lord from the deep miry clay, who tenderly brought me out to golden day. He brought me out of the miry clay. He set my feet on the rock to stay. He puts a song in my soul today, a song of praise. Hallelujah.
Reflecting Christ, a daily devotional by Helen G. White. The relationship between flesh and spirit. May 10. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Galatians chapter 6 verse 8. The lower passions have their seat in the body and work through it. The words flesh or fleshy or carnal lust embrace the lower, corrupt nature. The flesh of itself cannot act contrary to the will of God. We are commanded to crucify the flesh with the affections and lusts. How shall we do it? Shall we inflict pain on the body? No, but put to death the temptation to sin. The corrupt thought is to be expelled. Every thought is to be brought into captivity to Jesus Christ. All animal propensities are to be subjected to the higher powers of the soul. The love of God must reign supreme. Christ must occupy undivided throne. Our bodies are to be regarded as His purchased possessions. The members of the body are to become the instruments of righteousness. The Adventist Home, page 127 and 128. A strict compliance with the requirements of God is beneficial to the health of body and mind. In order to reach the highest standard of moral and intellectual attainments, it is necessary to seek wisdom and strength from God and to observe strict temperance in all habits of life. In the experience of Daniel and his companions, we have an instance of the triumph of principle over temptation to indulge the appetite. It shows us that through religious principle, young men may triumph over the lust of the flesh and remain true to God's requirements, even though it costs them a great sacrifice. We should consider the words of the Apostle in which he appeals to his brethren by the mercies of God to present their bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God. This is true sanctification. It is not merely a theory, an emotion, or a form of words, but a living, active principle entering into the everyday life. It requires that our habits of eating, drinking, and dressing be such as to secure the preservation of physical, mental, and moral health, that we may present to the Lord our bodies, not an offering corrupted by wrong habits, but a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God. A close sympathy exists between the physical and the moral nature, wherefore they may be. Those who are truly sanctified will elevate the moral standard of preserving correct physical habits, and like Daniel, presenting to others an example of temperance and self-denial. Every depraved appetite becomes a warring lust. Everything that conflicts with natural laws creates a diseased condition of the soul. With what care should Christians regulate their habits, that they may preserve the full vigor of every faculty to give the service of Christ. The Reverend Herald, January 25th, 1881. Thank you all for listening. God bless you.
Surely, the Bible says in the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 31, that, "Whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of God."